Here you go. Take this. It's for you.
What is this? Isn't it a check?
Yes, you're right. It's a check. It's a check for all the money we've been saving for when you get married. We started saving from the very day you were born, and we had hoped that it would one day be a large amount of money, but unfortunately we weren't able to save as much as we had wanted to. It should be enough for you to comfortably set up house, though. It should get you a modest apartment in the area close to your company, at least. Although it's not the hugest amount of money, I think it should be a decent amount for a couple of newlyweds. So I hope you and Jay work hard and earn lots of money so one day you can return the favor and look after me in my old age.
Mom, thank you so much, but this is far too much. You should keep it and use it on yourself.
I got the house that your dad left me, and I'm more than happy with that. Until the end, your dad was so worried about how you would have your wedding without him walking you down the aisle. That's how much you having the perfect wedding and married life meant to him. It's already heartbreaking enough that he passed away before he had a chance to give you away, so I'm sure he would be happy to know that the money we put aside would help his precious daughter comfortably buy a house. After all, he's the one who was working tirelessly to earn this money with the hope of one day seeing you happily move into your new place as a newlywed. Think it's a house you end up buying as a wedding gift from him to you and Jay. Make sure you let Jay know the sentiment behind this money as well. I think it's probably been playing on Jay's mind that he doesn't have the funds for a house right now. It really isn't a big deal, though, because we live in such a difficult economic climate that it's impossible for one young person to buy a house just off their own back. But I know he's still probably feeling a bit bad about it, and it makes me upset to think about that. If I were his mom, I know for sure I would be upset.
But still, Jay and I could easily have just taken out a loan for a house.
Do you know how much interest rates are these days? You'd be paying it back for the rest of your lives. When your parents want to help out and they have the means to help out, you should just happily accept it. And besides, it makes me really proud to know that my daughter will soon be a homeowner, as well as a bride, and I'd be happy to know that I could do something towards making that happen. I just want you to be as happy as possible. And look at Jay. He's such a catch. I know that he's someone just like your dad, a man who will work earnestly and tirelessly to provide for his family no matter what.
Of course, I know that Jay is a catch. I'm marrying him, aren't I? Oh, thank you so much, Mom. From the bottom of my heart, I promise we'll use the money well.
Well, good. All your dad up in heaven and I ever wanted is for you to be happy. I thought it would be best for me to give you the money directly instead of surprising you with the house I'd already bought. It's a big decision, so of course it should be one that you make yourselves. Make sure you discuss properly with Jay and find a nice place that suits you both, okay? Please explain everything to Jay and his mom in a way that won't upset them, okay?
Don't you worry about it, okay? And his mom isn't the kind of person to get upset over something like this, and of course you know that Jay himself isn't.
But still, words have a lot of power, so you should choose yours carefully when you tell them. I don't want them to feel burdened by the fact that their side wasn't able to contribute to getting you your first home.
I got it, Mom. Don't worry. And I honestly won't forget your generosity here. I promise I'll pay you back tenfold.
Wait, so you're saying that your mom has given us enough money to buy a house?
Yeah, I had no idea about it until yesterday. Apparently, she and my dad started saving for this from the day I was born. Do you not think she was a little too prepared? I mean, how did she even know whether I would want to get married or not? It had never occurred to me that they would have been putting money into a marriage fund for me for that long.
I'm so grateful, but I can't help but feel a little bit sorry. My family can't really bring much money to the table for us.
Why are you sorry? Your family has given more than enough toward the wedding considering their circumstances. There are plenty of other people in similar circumstances, so please, don't worry about it too much, okay? I was lucky enough that my dad lived until I was in college, but you lost yours when you were still a baby. I can't imagine how difficult things must have been for your mom. But even so, she worked her hardest to give you the best life possible, and to top that up, she was able to pay your college fees all by herself as well. How could we expect her to give us money toward a house when she's already done so much for you? And I know that you've been working part-time jobs to help her pay the rent since you became old enough to work, even though you never got that much for them. I think it's actually really amazing that you both pulled through without even taking out a single loan. Nobody has been through more than your mom, so please don't say you're sorry about this, okay? And in terms of annual salary, you earn way more than me anyway. From now on, we'll probably have to rely mostly on your salary for a lot of things, and besides, at the end of the day, who brings the most to the table for the wedding really doesn't matter, does it?
But still, giving us the money for the house is such a huge thing. I'm extremely grateful, but also extremely sorry towards your mom.
I really didn't know she was going to do this for us. I guess we have my dad to thank as well for this. We'll just have to make sure we live a happy, married life and make both of our families proud. I was thinking that we could even take our moms on a trip when everyone has some free time. What do you think?
That sounds great, thanks, Julia. And also, let's take your mom out to that fancy restaurant we went to last time to say thank you for her generosity. We noticed that there were so many things on the menu that she would like, and I think it's the least she deserves after she's done something so huge for us.
Oh, what a good idea. Yes, let's do that. But anyway, isn't your mom's birthday coming up soon? We should probably think of doing something for her on her birthday before anything else. I'll look for a nice restaurant that we can take her to. What kind of gift do you think she'd like?
Oh, my mom finds it kind of a burden to receive gifts, so I wouldn't really worry about getting her anything.
Don't be silly. Everyone likes gifts. Or does she think that raising a lovely son like you was enough of a gift? I guess I need to up my game and do something really nice for her so she says that she's happy to have me as her daughter-in-law. So don't get in the way of my moment of glory with her, okay, golden boy?
My mom already really likes you, so I don't think you need to do anything else. But, alright then, I'll subtly ask her if there's anything she needs or wants.
Thank you. I'm counting on you.
What were you doing that made you come home so late?
Oh, I was just looking for houses. Because Julia and I both work full days, we don't have time to look for houses other than after work. We already decided that we're going to look for furniture over the weekend, so we won't have the time to do it either then.
Oh, did the loan come through already? I heard that it takes a while to get it these days because they take so much time to do an audit on you.
I was meaning to tell you yesterday, but you were already asleep when I came in, so I couldn't. Julia's mom has actually given us the money for the house.
What? Julia's mom has given you that much money? But if you can afford a house with it, it must be a small fortune.
Enough to buy a decent-sized apartment near both our companies. It is a relief that we're living in a relatively small town, because if we were in a big city, we wouldn't be able to afford anything big enough, even with that money.
But wait a second. Didn't you say that Julia's family were in a similar financial situation to us? How on earth did her mom manage to get that much money?
Apparently her parents had been saving for her marriage literally since she was born. To be honest, I also felt more burdened than grateful when Julia first told me. But the money is a well-wish from her parents, so I think it's best to just happily accept it, and I'll do my best to earn more and contribute more in the future. So honestly, don't worry about it too much, Mom.
But when I met her mom at the engagement party, she said she wasn't that well off. But I guess that was all a lie. How could she say that and then just gift you two that much money out of the blue? It really leaves me at a loss for words, you know. It's embarrassing for me, thinking we were in the same boat.
They were probably just playing things down to help us save face. Anyway, I'm confident that I'll be able to pay them back some way eventually. And anyway, Julia and I had planned to get married without having any financial help from our parents, so don't worry about it too much, Mom. Julia understands our situation well and doesn't judge us or think less of us for not being able to put any money towards the house.
Still, it doesn't make me look very good, does it?
I'm telling you, it's fine, Mom. Has Julia ever said at any point that she's disappointed or upset that our family couldn't contribute to buying a house? Of course she hasn't. And anyway, if coming from a family with a stable financial situation was a necessary marriage requirement for Julia, she wouldn't be marrying me, would she? So really, it's not something you should be concerned or embarrassed about. Oh, by the way, Mom, do you have any plans on your birthday?
What plans would little old me have on her birthday, huh? Do I have friends? Do I have a husband? No, I have neither. But why are you asking about my birthday all of a sudden?
Julia has made reservations for us at a nice restaurant. Why don't you come have dinner with us to celebrate your birthday?
That sounds wonderful. I'm so happy to have a considerate daughter-in-law. I've always spent my birthdays at home by myself.
Well, from now on, you won't be doing that ever again, Mom. I'm so sorry. I was always so busy, and I wasn't able to spoil you on your birthday the way that you deserve.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not some little kid. I don't need spoiling on my birthday or anything like that. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing Julia again for the first time in a while.
She's looking forward to it too. And it's really great luck that your birthday falls on a weekend this year. We'll be able to leave the house together, which is always nicer than me rushing to join you from work.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm sure it's going to be lots of fun. Oh, goodness, what a fancy place you've taken me to. It looks like it's going to be on the expensive side. Is this really okay?
Of course it's okay, Betty. Your birthday only comes around once a year after all. I know you really like sashimi, so I thought this would be a great choice for your birthday meal. I really hope that the food is to your taste. And of course, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Mom. Here's your gift. Julia and I picked it out together.
A gift? On top of this amazing dinner? Oh, thank you both so much. Ooh, it's leather gloves. It's so warm and fluffy. I'll definitely be nice and toasty wearing this, thank you. Was this your idea too, Julia?
Jay and I chose it together. I hope you'll be nice and warm this winter.
Well, I never really have any reason to go outside, so I'm nice and warm in my house most of the time. But anyway, thank you both so much for thinking of me.
Oh, don't lie, Mom. I know you spend all winter with the boiler turned off because you don't want the heating bill to be too expensive. You're gonna get sick if you keep doing this, so make sure you turn the boiler on this winter and make sure you wear your gloves, okay? Oh, wait a second. I'm getting a call. Hello? Oh, the car? Understood. I'm so sorry. I'll move it right now. I got a call asking me to move the car out. I'll just go and do that now, so you guys don't wait for me and start eating.
Okay, see you in a bit. Betty, how is the food? Do you like it?
Meh, it's okay. It could be better. I feel like the quality of the food really doesn't justify the price, you know.
Oh, really? Do you think maybe the fish isn't that fresh then? I tend to like everything I eat, so I'm not really a connoisseur. I'm sure you know much more than me about sashimi, so I trust your judgment.
There's nothing in particular wrong with the food. It just doesn't taste that great. It's average at best. By the way, I didn't see the receipt in the bag with the gloves you gave me.
Ah, the receipt for the gloves? I didn't leave it in the bag with the gloves. Why do you ask?
Well, the design isn't really to my taste, if I'm honest, and I like scarves more than gloves anyway. I much prefer the designer scarves that you see all the ladies my age wearing around the neighborhood these days. When I was spending all my money on raising my Jay, I didn't dare splash out on something as fancy as that. But now these days all the moms and grandmas are going around decked out to the nines in designer scarves, bags, and even shoes. When I ask them where they got them from, they all say that they were gifts from their daughters or daughters-in-law, you know.
Ah, I see. That's how it is. No problem, Betty. I'll exchange this for a nice scarf as soon as I can, and hopefully that will be more to your taste. Or would you like to go to the department store together and you can pick one out yourself?
Oh no, don't worry about it. If we do that, I'm sure Jay is just going to complain about it. By the way, I heard from Jay that your mom has given you two the money to buy an apartment.
Yeah, she did. I honestly had no idea that she'd been saving money all this time, so it came as a huge surprise to me.
If she was hiding that she had such a large sum of money, she should have said something before. Don't you think it makes both me and Jay look really bad for not being able to contribute any money toward the house or even the wedding? Your mom seems like a very nice person, but she clearly isn't very good at taking other people's feelings into consideration.
Oh no, that's not the case at all. The reason she didn't say anything before is because she was trying to be considerate of you. But now I understand that her deciding to act that way could have upset you more than just telling you directly in the first place. I'm sorry. My mom never intended to slight you in any way. All she wanted was to wish Jay and I well in our married life by gifting this money. I really hope you haven't misunderstood and you take this as my mom trying to flaunt her money or anything like that. After all, saving this money wasn't an easy feat for her, and it's taken my entire life to get this much.
Oh, don't be silly. Of course I haven't misunderstood anything. So, have you started looking at houses then?
There's one place we found that we both really like. It's a really nice size for the two of us, and it's also really close to both of our companies. I think it's still best for us to look at a few other places, but I do doubt that we'll find anywhere better than this. Nobody's living there right now, so they said we could move in straight away after signing the contract, which is also a plus.
But if it's just a really nice size for the two of you, won't it be a little too small in the long term? If you decide to have kids later on, won't you have to end up moving to a bigger place? Neither of you are getting any younger, you know. You're both in your mid-30s already. If you're going to have kids, you need to start thinking about it soon.
Oh, well, having kids isn't really one of our priorities right now. And anyway, there are 3 rooms, so it would still be an okay size if we did have a kid in the future.
I'm still not convinced.
The atmosphere seems to have gotten a bit colder in here since I left. What have you guys been talking about whilst I was gone?
Oh, it's nothing. We were just talking about the house search.
Now you're back, Jay. I'll just get to the point of what I wanted to say. I'll give you guys a little bit extra money so you can buy a bigger place.
Mom, what are you saying?
Oh, really? There's no need.
I have a little money put aside as well, you know. I should be able to give you a decent amount, so don't worry about it and go for a bigger place where you'll be more comfortable. I can't have you settling on something small that isn't future-proof now, can I? Even if it is your first home, I can't bear the thought of you two squeezing in somewhere that doesn't have enough room to swing a cat.
Mom, please, don't be ridiculous. You don't have the money to help us out at the moment. You don't need to prove anything, so keep your money for yourself, okay?
If you're doing this because of my mom, please don't worry about it. Like we said, no one thinks less of you for not having the same money put aside. And remember that my mom has accumulated this money over the last 30 years or so.
Well, I don't know what's gotten into you two. Why are you making such a fuss about me wanting to do something nice for my son and daughter-in-law? Is it because you think I'm not capable of saving money like Julia's mom? Well, guess what? I am just as capable, actually. Although I haven't been able to save as much because I had to work so hard raising Jay all by myself, but I have still managed to save a modest amount with the intention of investing it in Jay's wedding and helping him start married life. And of course, my reasons for not saying anything at the time are exactly the same as your mom's, Julia. I was worried that she didn't have enough funds, so I didn't want to brag about having some money set aside in front of her. I don't think she realized that two can play at that game. Anyway, don't settle for a house that isn't big enough. Stop whining and just accept my generosity here. I can even go to the realtors and help you pick out a suitable place myself.
Is this really true, Mom? Did you really just do exactly what Julia's mom did and secretly save up a bunch of money? You never said anything to me about this.
I already told you I never felt the need to show off about something like that. I'm a very modest person, you know. Julia, make sure you let your mom know that I also have some money to contribute toward your new house, okay? I don't want her giving Jay a hard time over this.
Rest assured that neither my mother nor myself would give Jay a hard time about anything, Betty. But anyway, I will make sure that I tell her. Thank you so much for helping out, Betty. It really means a lot.
Oh, don't mention it. It's nothing, really. Also, it seems like you guys may run into some difficulties when looking for a house, so I think you should take me with you from now on whenever you do a viewing. There are so many real estate scams going on at the moment, so you need to be careful. I know that you're both adults and are perfectly capable of looking after yourselves, but I'm sure you would benefit from having an older person of superior sense like me come along with you.
That sounds like a good idea. Thank you for worrying about us so much, Betty. Do you think that your mom really does have some extra money saved? She told us before that she didn't have a cent to put toward the wedding or anything, and if we wanted to get married and get our own place, we would need to do it entirely off our own backs. I feel like her suddenly saying that she has secret savings could be perhaps her feeling a bit shocked and insulted that my mom never said anything about the money she saved, and trying to get one up on her to save face. I'm worried if she really does give us that money, she'll be pushing herself beyond her financial capabilities.
I'm also very confused about the whole situation. But my mom isn't the kind of person to say that she has money when she doesn't. So I guess maybe she is telling the truth. I'll have a proper talk with her when it's just the two of us later. Oh, also, are you really okay with my mom coming along to all of our house viewings? I was worried that you might be a little uncomfortable about that. If you are, I can just tell her not to come. I'm sure she'll understand.
Oh no, it's fine. After all, this is our first place, and we don't really have any experience with dealing with realtors. I'm sure having her with us will be an advantage, and she'll be able to give us advice on things we might not necessarily have thought of ourselves.
Okay then, if you're sure. Mom, tell me the truth. Do you really have that extra money saved to put towards our house? You would have to give us quite a bit extra to enable us to buy a house of the size that you were suggesting. You really don't need to give us anything. The amount we received from Julia's mom is more than enough to buy a place that will suit us just fine. You really don't need to go out of your way to help us. If you do have that much money saved, please just keep it for yourself instead.
You really have been ignoring everything I've been saying all this time, haven't you? Even if I do appear to be struggling financially, how could I not have an emergency fund set aside for something as important as my son's future? I told you that the only reason I didn't say anything until now is because I was worried about showing up Julia's mom. But I guess I didn't have to worry about that after all. I do have the money to spare, actually. So stop worrying needlessly about me, okay? And don't say anything to Julia or her mom about thinking I don't really have the money. It will make me look like a joke in front of them.
Mom, seriously, neither of them are the sort of people to ever think about you like that, whatever the situation.
You never can be too careful, you know. Anyway, I don't see what the problem is here. Why can't you just gratefully accept my money the way you accepted the money Julia's mom gave you?
Okay. Thank you, Mom. We will accept the money and not say any more about it, okay?
So don't you go around feeling like you need to be extra nice to Julia's mom out of shame for our family not being able to contribute as much financially. We are making a contribution, so I would say that she and I can be viewed as equals now that that's out in the open. You were also blatantly pandering to Julia earlier when you still thought that her side were the only ones paying toward your house. Where's your pride as a man? You shouldn't lower yourself like that.
When was I acting like that? I'm just trying to be the gentleman that you taught me to be.
Oh, I don't buy that for a second. I know you've been trying to overcompensate. If I could have just saved a little bit more money, you wouldn't have to act like this. You see, these are the kinds of worries that a parent has. I worry that Julia, or her mom, might start picking at you about something or other.
I know you worry a lot, Mom, but there really is no need. Both Julia and her mom show me nothing but love. Julia keeps saying how much her mom really likes me, you know?
Well, if that's the case, I can rest assured then.
Morning, Julia. I didn't wake you up, did I?
No, it's fine. I was already awake. What are you calling about so early in the morning? And also, what's with your voice? Are you feeling okay?
No, I'm not feeling too great, to be honest. I had a feeling I was coming down with something yesterday evening, and I thought it was nothing. But when I woke up this morning, my throat was really sore, and my voice is all hoarse and croaky. I guess I have ended up catching a cold after all. I think I probably shouldn't go to the house viewing later. I don't want to get you or anyone else sick.
Oh, that's fine. Your mom and I can just go to the viewing together then.
Are you sure about that? If you feel uncomfortable about it being just the two of you, we can just cancel it and go another day.
We need to find a house quickly, though, and if this one is nice, it might get snapped up by someone else before we can book another viewing. So it's better to go sooner rather than later. And why would I feel uncomfortable hanging out with your mom? It'll be a nice change for some girly bonding. You just go and see the doctor and then have a long rest at home. You need to focus on getting better as fast as possible. Shall I bring you something warm to eat, like a soup or something?
Oh, no, it's okay. My mom has already made me plenty of soup, but thank you anyway.
Okay then. Well, I'll swing by later to pick up your mom just before the viewing.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Take your time and have a good look around the property. This is definitely quite a large place for just two people to be living in, but if you plan on expanding your family in the future, it will be perfect.
It is indeed quite big for just the two of us. I really don't think we need somewhere like this. It's going to be hard to clean.
What are you talking about? It'll need to be this big for 3 people to live in it?
What do you mean by 3 people? I told you before, Betty, we're really not thinking about having a baby anytime soon.
Who said anything about a baby? I'm talking about me. You, Jay, and me. All living together. Won't that be wonderful? This place will be perfect size for us all, don't you think?
Sorry, did I hear you right? You want to live with us, Betty? You never said anything about wanting this before, so why all of a sudden...
Well, of course, I only think it's proper for me to come and live here with you after I've pledged to contribute so much money toward buying this house for you two. And anyway, I can't bear the idea of living apart from my precious son. This apartment is much bigger than the one you were interested in before, so I think we should go for this one, as I can comfortably fit in here alongside you guys. There are 3 bedrooms as well, so there's more than enough space.
Oh, are you going to be living here as well, ma'am? I was under the impression that only the newlywed couple would be moving in here.
Then this definitely will be the perfect size for the 3 of you. The location is also great. The supermarket is just around the corner, and the subway station is just a short walk away. It's really hard to find an apartment this nice in a small city, so if I were you, I would snap this one up as soon as possible. You're right. We shouldn't waste another second. We'd like to sign for this place, please?
Betty? Excuse me, can you just hold up for a second? We can't just make a snap decision to sign for a house like that. Can we talk about this a little first, please? I'm so sorry. Thank you for showing us around. We'll get in touch later on if we're still interested.
Okay then, we look forward to hearing from you. But it will need to be quick if you wanted to go ahead with this place. Lots of other people are interested, and it could be taken by someone else if you hesitate for too long. That's why I'm saying, why don't we just sign for it right now? I don't see what the problem is, and I certainly don't see why we need to waste precious time talking about this.
Betty, would you care to enlighten me on what you were talking about at the viewing just now?
What on earth do you mean by that?
It was the first time I ever heard anything about you planning to come and live with us after we're married. Jay hasn't said anything to me about this either, so I'm just a bit taken aback.
Why would you be taken aback by a mother who just wants to carry on living with her child? It's only natural. And it's not like I'm living with you for free either. What's wrong with me wanting to live in a house I have made a generous contribution toward? To put it simply, I've got just as much as a right to live there, if not more than you do. And anyway, the whole reason I've offered my financial aid is so you two can live as comfortably as possible, so shouldn't I deserve to share in that comfort? I was sure that you wouldn't have any complaints about it, so I didn't even think there was ever any need to ask.
But still, Betty, living together is quite a big deal. It's not something one party can decide to do on their own without discussing it with the other. Have you talked to Jay about this, by the way? It didn't seem like he knew about this the last time I spoke to him.
Well, there's no need to ask him about it. He's my son. Of course he'll be nothing but happy at the idea of living with me. Surely it's natural for any child to want to live with their parent forever. Oh, by the way, there's a little request I wanted to make of you, and I thought it was best to do it whilst Jay isn't here. But anyway, regardless of how much money I put toward the house, it may look a little strange in some people's eyes if I've decided to come and live with you all of a sudden. So, how about you suggest having me come and live with you to Jay as if it were your idea? If you present it to him like that, there's no way he wouldn't just accept it without any troubles.
But I don't understand why you want to live with us when you already have a nice house of your own. And besides, won't a change of environment be more uncomfortable for you than anything else? And if I'm brutally honest, I never really considered living with you at all.
Aw, it's such a shame that young girls these days have forgotten all about upholding traditional values. It seems like you're no different. When a woman gets married, she needs to accept the fact that she needs to always be taking her in-laws into consideration from then on out. That's how it always was, and it's how it should still be. Of course, your mother doesn't seem like the type who would teach you about these values, but that's besides the point. This is how things should be. And anyway, I've already sold my house, so you need to hurry up and sign for that nice 3-bedroom place we just looked at, okay? The people who bought my house will be moving in soon, so I'll be homeless if you don't do something soon.
What? You sold your house? So, the money you said you were going to give us wasn't actually money you'd been saving, but...
Money from the sale of the house, yes, that's right. So now you don't really have any choice other than to just accept the money and have me come and live with you. There's no turning back now. So you better go and tell Jay that you want me to come and live with you. If he thinks it's your idea, he will surely look on you even more favorably than he did already. Men like women who are good to their parents more than anything, you know. And if he sees you being so good to me, he might treat your mom even better as well. Don't you think it'll turn out better for everyone this way? And don't worry, I'm not so traditional that I'm going to force you to do all the housework after I move in with you. I'll actually be willing to help you with all the cooking and cleaning, so don't you think it will be nice having me around?
It still really doesn't sit right with me that the money you're putting towards our house has come from the sale of your house. If Jay or I had heard that you were planning to do this, of course we would have stopped you from going ahead with the sale. I'm going to have to talk this over with Jay.
What is there to talk about? I'm Jay's mom, and this is what I've decided. If you still want to marry Jay, you should know what's best for you and do as I say. If you have no intention of listening to me, then I don't think this marriage can go ahead at all.
Oh my goodness. I think this cold is getting worse.
Oh no, poor baby. Is it really that bad? Did you take your medicine?
Yeah, I did. I guess I just need to go and get a good night's sleep. But anyway, what happened with my mom today? She came home with a face like thunder. And come to think of it, you don't look so pleased yourself either.
Jay? Look, I know you're not feeling well, and it probably isn't the best time for me to see this, but it looks like time is tight, so I'll just go ahead and say it anyway.
What is it? Is it something really serious?
Well, your mom suddenly said out of nowhere that she wants to come and live with us. And on top of that, she said that she actually got the money she said she was saving for us from selling her house without telling you. I was so caught off guard because she told me all of this just now when we were at the viewing. Has she really not ever said anything about any of this to you?
What? My mom really said that? No, this is also my first time hearing about all of this. She told you that she sold the house? Our house? As in the house I live in with her right now?
Yes, she said that the money from the house sale is her wedding gift to us. She then said because now she has nowhere to live, she has no choice but to come and live with us. She said that the new owners of the house will be moving in soon and everything. How could she not say anything about this to you when you lived there with her too?
If I had known, I would have stopped her immediately, or at least tried to do something to persuade her otherwise. I mean, I should have known something was up when she first mentioned giving us the money. I know she has money, and I was very suspicious about where she suddenly pulled those savings out from.
I won't sugarcoat things or beat around the bush at all. I really don't want to live with your mom. I want to enjoy our newlywed life to the fullest, just the two of us, and I want us to build our home together at our own pace without having to worry about her. Of course, I'm grateful to your mom for wanting to give us money toward buying a house, but if these are her intentions behind it, then I just won't accept it. And anyway, if we use her logic, my mom gave us even more money toward the house, so shouldn't she come and live with us as well?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I had absolutely no idea that my mom was planning on doing something like this. Oh, I'm so sorry that you've had to deal with this, Julia. This has really shocked me. I guess this is what her intentions behind coming with us to the house viewings were all along. My mom has really outdone herself this time.
Your mom also said that if I don't agree with her wishes, she won't give us her blessing for our marriage. But if having your mom live with us really is a condition for us to get married, then I would rather just not get married. I don't know if hearing this makes you upset or anything, but this is just how I feel.
Oh, I'm not upset at all. I completely understand why you feel this way. I will definitely make sure my mom doesn't come to live with us, so don't worry about it too much. My mom sometimes randomly has these spells when she does crazy things like this. I always just let it happen because I was always the only person who had to deal with her. But I won't let her subject you to her craziness as well. She's my mom, so I'll take responsibility for this and sort it out.
Okay, thanks. I'll leave it to you then.
Why did Julia call you outside when she knows you're not feeling well? Going out in the cold is just going to make you feel worse.
Mom, is it true that you sold this house? Did you sell it just so you could get the money to put towards a house for us? And then you were planning to use that as a hold over Julia and try to come and live with us?
Oh goodness, why would she drag my poor sick baby outside to tell you something like that? Julia really is a much crueler person than I thought. She's going to end up giving you a hard time if you marry her, that girl.
Mom, please don't change the subject and just tell me whether it's true or not.
Fine. Yes, it is the truth. Did you really think I actually had any extra money lying around? But I think it's a good investment, don't you? I get to live in a much nicer place, and you get to live comfortably eating my home cooking like you always have done. It's clearly the best choice for everyone. Has Julia decided to say she's against it after all? I told her she should have just signed the contract straight away whilst we were at the viewing, but I was so shocked when she was so violently against the whole thing and practically dragged me away, even when I told her that I'm going to be homeless soon.
Mom, I think you're missing the point here. I'm asking you why on earth you wouldn't say anything about a decision as important as selling the house to me. I also think if you had said something about wanting to live with us earlier, we could have talked amicably about it and sorted things out in a way that nobody ends up getting angry. But what did you think would happen if I ended up finding out about all of this stuff in this way? Did you think I was just going to be happy with whatever you wanted to do and just go along with it?
But I'm giving you so much money toward your new place. Surely it's a given that I should then get the right to live with you there. It's not something that I should even have to discuss with you. Do you really hate the idea of living with me that much? No, of course you wouldn't mind. You're my baby boy. It's Julia who doesn't want to live with me, and she's trying to poison you into taking her side. I told her that it was a daughter-in-law's duty to be willing to live with her mother-in-law. She obviously wasn't listening to a single word I was saying. I saw her for the disrespectful girl she really is. I won't stand for these. I'll need to go and give her a good talking to. If she's willing to disrespect me like this, it makes me shiver to think how much she's going to disrespect you as her husband once you're married.
Mom, will you please listen to yourself? This is the 21st century. Nobody brings their in-laws to live with them anymore. And according to your logic, shouldn't Julia's mom come and live with us as well? After all, she has put much more money towards our house than you have.
I can't believe I'm hearing this from my own son. So are you taking Julia's side against me then? Why would her mom suddenly want to live with you guys anyway? If she wanted to do that, she should have said something when she first gave you the money toward the house.
And that's exactly what you should have done, Mom, instead of coming up with these schemes behind our back. See, when you think about Julia's mom doing the exact same thing you just did, it seems absurd, doesn't it? Do you seriously think that secretly selling the house was the best thing to do in this situation? Mom, please just think rationally for a second. In what world do you think I would be okay with that? When did you even put the house on the market? How did you even put the house on the market and do all the dealings with the realtor without me noticing?
I had the idea when I told you I would give you the money toward the house at my birthday dinner, and made the call to put it up for sale the next day. And anyway, this house isn't that old, so it can fetch a good price, and on top of that, things are set to get worse in the real estate market from now on, so it's better to sell it sooner rather than later. To me, it seems like this was the best solution. I thought I'd be able to live much more comfortably with you two than I do now. I actually find it quite insulting that you're opposing it to this extent, you know. I don't understand why you're suddenly treating your poor old mother like this.
Julia said that you told her that if she doesn't consent to you coming to live with us, you won't give us your blessing for our marriage. Is that true?
She really didn't spare any details, did she? Yes, it's true, I did say that. I don't want a daughter-in-law like her who isn't going to prioritize her mother-in-law. I spent my whole marriage to your father accommodating his parents. I even went to visit them a few times after he passed away to make sure they were okay. I don't see what's so wrong about expecting the same treatment from my own daughter-in-law. And anyway, I was always doing the chores for them and bringing them whatever they asked for, whenever they asked for it. It's not like I'm asking Julia to do that much for me. I just want her to be willing to welcome this poor old widowed lady into her home. I really think it's a small penance in comparison to mine. So I still don't understand why she's making such a big deal out of it.
Well, first, maybe asking us about it before deciding to do it may have made her slightly less averse to the idea. But that's beside the point. It's not just Julia who doesn't want you coming to live with us. I don't want that either. We're not going to be accepting the money from the house sale, so just keep it all and go and find a new place for you to live by yourself. I'll support you whilst you find somewhere, but I won't give in and let you live with us under any circumstances, Bob.
What? How could you be so heartless as to tell your own mother to go and live by herself? Are you saying you want me to get old and decrepit and die alone? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying to me.
Bob, please, why do you have to be so dramatic about this? I've told you a million times. It's the 21st century, and it's not normal for a newlywed couple to live with their parents. Your expectations of Julia as a daughter-in-law are weird and incredibly outdated. And that's besides the point. Who on earth sells their house without saying anything with the expectation that their child, who never planned to live with them after marriage, will just welcome them with open arms?
I can't believe that you would talk to your own mother this way, Jay. I am truly heartbroken. I don't believe this is you. This is Julia talking, isn't it? She's the one that's made you say all these awful things to me. Just you wait until I get my hands on that manipulating...
Julia hasn't done anything wrong here, and she hasn't put me up to this. These are all my own opinions. If you carry on blaming Julia and trying to turn her into some kind of villain when she's been nothing but kind to you, even when you've been quite unreasonable, I will have no choice but to cut you off.
What did you just say? You'll cut ties with me? You would really cut off your own mother who has given up everything for you just for the sake of some girl?
Yes, I would, and I stand firm on that stance. And for the last time, I have no intention of taking the money you got from selling this house. I also hope I won't hear you bring up anything about coming to live with us ever again. I am going to relay all of this to Julia as well, of course.
How can you just abandon me like that? Do you know how much I went through when I was raising you all by myself?
Think about it this way. Julia's mom also worked really hard to raise her and thinks of her just as tenderly as you think of me. Do you think her mom would just sit by and do nothing after hearing that you had been trying to coerce her daughter into doing things that she didn't want to do? And also, her mom is from the same generation as you. She's also aware of the traditional views people had back then about how a daughter-in-law should behave towards her parents-in-law. She probably suffered the same way you did when she was married to Julia's dad. But has she tried to impose an unpleasant and outdated traditional idea on anyone just because that's how things were when she got married? No, she isn't. And do you know why that is? Because she has the sense to understand that times have changed, and she doesn't want to see her daughter suffer for no reason just because she did. She's a wonderful person, and I wouldn't want to make her upset, which is what would happen if she saw Julia forced into something against her will. I hope you finally understand everything I'm saying now, Mom, and you wouldn't try and interfere with mine and Julia's plans anymore.
Insolent boy! I can't believe this!
Hi, Betty. Why have you asked to see me all of a sudden?
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I have made an appointment in advance? In this situation? Did you forget everything I told you to do the other day? Do you want to know why I'm so angry right now? It's because I just discovered that my future daughter-in-law is a self-serving little snitch who doesn't know how to respect the authority of her mother-in-law to be. I didn't see it when Jay first introduced you to me because you just seemed like a nice, sweet, sensible young woman. But now I know that behind the mask you're actually a cold-hearted, calculating manipulator who set out to poison her fiancé against his own mother. Did I not tell you that it was in everyone's best interest to tell Jay that you would like me to come and live with you, and that it was your idea? Well, after last night it became clear to me that you definitely did not say that to him. Well, are you happy now?
Betty, with all due respect, I don't see how you can try and turn this around on me and make me into the bad person here. It's you who suddenly decided that you were going to live with us without even checking with us whether it was okay first. How can you accuse me of being calculating when you had such underhanded intentions behind promising to give us the extra money for the house?
Do you really hate me this much? Please tell me what on earth it is I've done to make you hate me so much.
Betty, please, I don't hate you. I just don't want to live with you, and there's no more to it than that. Ever since Jay and I got engaged, our plan was just for the two of us to live together after we got married. Before my mom gave us the money for the house, we were just planning to live in a modest place that was just big enough for the both of us. We would have been happy with whatever we could have afforded with the loan we were planning on taking out. Because of my mom's generosity, we were able to afford to live in a slightly bigger place. But even then, there was never any talk of you coming to live with us. Not from us and not from you. So you must understand how shocking it was to hear that not only had you decided you wanted to live with us without consulting us, you had even gone as far as secretly selling your house with the intention of backing us into a corner?
I can't believe that you're talking back to me like this. Did your mother teach you to behave like this? Did she tell you that it was okay to do whatever you want without a care in the world for your poor mother-in-law's feelings? It would make sense, though. Your mom doesn't look like the sort of person who would have cared a button for her in-laws. Honestly, both you and your mom are so mediocre. I'm sure her in-laws were disappointed in her just like how I'm disappointed in you right now.
I can deal with you insulting me all day long, but I cannot and will not sit here and listen to you insult my mom like that. You don't know anything about her and everything she's been through. She worked really hard to give me the best life possible, and I'm forever grateful to her, so if you're really going to start bad-mouthing her, I'm not just going to take it lying down.
I'm going to say whatever I want to say, actually. If you didn't want to hear me insult you and your mother, you should have known better and listened to me in the first place. This whole situation is your fault, you know.
That's enough now, Mom. I thought I told you loud and clear to leave Julia alone and drop the whole living with us thing last night. But it looks like you didn't listen to a word I was saying.
Oh gosh, you startled me. Jay, when did you get here?
When you said you wanted to meet up because you had something to tell me. I called him thinking that what you had to say would probably be along the lines of what you just said. I thought it would be better for Jay to hear it from the horse's mouth instead of me just relaying things to him. And I thought that as Jay is your son, this conversation concerns him just as much as it concerns you or me.
So what you're saying is that you called Jay out here when he's such a busy man? Do you not have any respect for his work? I saw you head out for work this morning, Jay. Why aren't you at the office?
I think a family situation of this important takes precedence over work, don't you? The fact that you're still acting like this after everything I told you last night just goes to show that you really didn't understand the gravity of my words. I told you, didn't I? That if you carry on blaming Julia and trying to make her into the villain, I'll just cut you off. I mean it, you know? I think that will be the best thing to do after seeing how you've acted this morning. If we have no relationship anymore, there's no need for you to give us money, and there's certainly no need for you to come and live with us, is there?
You're really saying this again? It was cruel the first time, but a second time? It's too much for my weak heart to take. How could you say that you'll cut ties with me after everything I've done for you? Right in front of your fiancé as well. How do you think she's going to view me now? She's already looking down on me enough as it is. How can I possibly show my face in front of her and her family after this?
Well, you won't need to, because we're not going to have anything to do with you anymore. This will be the best thing for everyone involved, don't you think? Because you sold the house, you'll need to start looking for a new place, and that will take up a lot of your time. You'll be able to focus on it fully without worrying about our situation on top of that. I'll start moving my things out today. Anyway, Julie and I also have some house hunting to do, so we don't really have the time to stay here chatting to you. Come on, Julia, let's go.
Yes, let's get out of here.
Now, just where do you think you're going? I can't believe that my sweet little boy has let himself be manipulated by this witch of a girl. Now, just wait a second. I wasn't finished talking.
It's such a relief that the place we were originally going to go was for still in the market. I can't believe our luck. And we were able to sign everything and move in so quickly, it's almost too good to be true.
Right? I was so worried that someone would have taken it whilst the whole business with my mom was going on, so it was such a stroke of luck that it was still available. I can't wait for us to build our lives together in this place.
Yes, I can't wait for what the future holds. By the way, has your mom tried to contact you at all?
Yeah, she has, but I never picked up. If I did pick up, she would just keep harping on about the same stuff and wouldn't let me get a word in until she'd finished. And it's not like she'd listen to anything I have to say, even if she does give me the chance to speak.
Thank you for not standing by and taking it when she was insulting me and my mom. I do feel a bit uncomfortable for being the reason that you ended up cutting ties with her. But at the same time, I feel that this is the best way forward both for you and for your mom.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Make sure you don't pick up either if she tries to call you, okay?
Of course I won't. You don't need to worry about that. The coffee here is so good, isn't it? I'm so glad that we have such a nice cafe near our house. We need to come here all the time.
Yeah, it is so tasty. Shall we get a coffee for takeout to give to your mom? She really likes coffee, doesn't she?
That's a really good idea. This is exactly the kind of coffee blend that she loves.
Okay, let's get her one just before we leave then, so it's still nice and hot when we give it to her. Oh, wait a second, I just need to go to the bathroom. Mom? What are you doing here?
Betty?
Oh, I see the two of you are living the high life and having fancy coffees without a care in the world for how I might be doing.
How did you know we were here?
I was passing by and saw the two of you head in here, so I followed you. How could you not contact me even once? Not even a how are you text? And I must have called you 100 times a day. Why won't you pick up? Are you really going to cut me off? Surely it was just a bluff and you really just wanted to punish me for a while, right? You guys will be getting married soon. Are you really going to go ahead with the wedding without involving me at all?
You said that if we didn't let you come and live with us, you would be against the wedding going ahead, didn't you? Well, we're just respecting your wishes.
Well, I didn't mean for you to take me so literally. People normally talk things through and try and find a compromise when they have a difference of opinions. They don't just go around cutting off their family members like it's nothing. I can't believe that I raised such a ridiculously stubborn child.
You know full well that you had no intention of finding a compromise, Mom. I could sit by and take it when your craziness only affected me, but there is no way I was ever gonna let you get away with treating Julia the way that you did.
Seeing as you're still spouting nothing but nonsense, you're obviously still under the influence of whatever spell she's put on you. Of course you wouldn't spare a thought for your poor mother in this state. Is this really the thanks I get for putting my everything into raising you?
If you're gonna take swipes like this, we're not gonna stand for it. Let's go, Julia.
Wait up a second. How could you have been so cold-hearted? We haven't even seen each other for a whole month, and you're not even curious as to how I've been doing? And you too, Julia. Do you really not have anything you want to ask me?
Don't try and drag Julia into this when I was the one who decided to cut ties with you.
Fine, whatever. I give up. You win. I can't believe I'm saying something like that to my own son, but things don't always turn out the way we expect them to. I suppose you're already living in your new place, right? Well, I am now living in a new place I bought using the money from the house sale. Everything turned out the way that you wanted it to, so why don't we just start talking to each other again? You know that I don't really have any friends or family around to keep me company, so saying you'll cut me off like that was extremely cold-hearted, you know. There are so many older people living by themselves that end up dying alone. Julia, do you not feel sorry for me at all either? I'll admit that I was wrong. When I thought about how much my in-laws ordered me around even after my husband had passed on, I understand how my treatment of you could have been considered unfair. I know now that I was completely at fault. I've reflected a lot over the last month, and I promise that I'll never act like that ever again. So please, how about we get back in contact with each other?
I am not so sure. I think this is ultimately for Jay to decide.
Even if things may have worked out now, I still can't forgive the way that you were treating Julia behind my back. I need time to think about whether I really want to forgive you or not, so I won't be making any decisions right now. I'll get in touch with you when I've decided what I want to do. We're leaving now, so...
But I've apologized to you and everything. Surely that should just make it all okay? I told you that I acknowledge and understand that I was wrong. What else do I need to do?
Hi, Hazel, how are you doing? You shouldn't have come all the way out here by yourself. I said I would have come to pick you up.
Oh, don't worry about that, sweetheart. It's nice to get out and about sometimes. Older people need to exercise every now and again as well, you know. Oh, goodness, the house has gotten so much prettier since the last time I saw it. It's really starting to feel like a home now. You guys have really put your stamp on the place.
Right? There was basically nothing here the first time you came over, wasn't there? Now we've managed to put most of our stuff where we wanted it to be. It started to feel a lot cozier in here.
It's really making me feel nostalgic about when I first got married to your father. When I think about it now, I really don't know how the two of us lived in such a tiny house, but we were happy and that was all that mattered. I think that was probably the happiest time of my whole life. This will be the sweetest period of your life together, so make sure you don't fight too much and enjoy every second of it, okay?
Of course we will. You don't need to worry about that. Anyway, let's eat. We got up extra early to prepare all this food for you as a treat, so we hope you enjoy it. Everything is homemade. I didn't order any takeout at all. Aren't you impressed? Last time you were so horrified when we ordered takeout whilst you were here.
That's because those kinds of foods are bad for your health. I hear you bragging about the homemade food, Julia, but I don't believe that you lifted a finger to help make this. I think Jay has made all of this himself. I know my daughter, and I know she couldn't make something so complex.
Mom, please, you're embarrassing me.
Oh, you've caught us out, Hazel. You're right, I did make most of this, but Julia is trying her best to improve her cooking these days. She did make the pasta salad, so how about you start by tasting this?
What on earth is this? It doesn't taste at all how it should.
Mom, I did say I was learning. I will get better.
That's right. You always do learn how to do something well when you put your mind to it. By the way, are you two still not talking to Betty? I know you told me not to worry about it, but I can't help but be a bit worried for you.
Yeah, I still haven't forgiven her.
I do understand how both of you feel about the situation, but I don't want you to just be punishing her out of stubbornness. I can't say I fully know how it feels, because Julia's dad passed away when she was in college, and I had him by my side when she was growing up, but Jay, your mom has known this loneliness her entire life, and I can't even begin to imagine how hard that must have been for her. So I think that maybe forgiving her won't be the worst thing in the world. The real driving force behind her wanting to live with you might just have been loneliness. Although, don't get me wrong, I don't condone the way she went about it at all.
I don't know about that. It just makes me so upset to think about how she was treating Julia.
If it's me you're worried about, I can honestly tell you that I'm over it now. Of course, I don't think I will ever understand why she behaved that way, and I'm not going to be as friendly with her as I was before, but I do feel that maybe it's a bit harsh to not let her come to her only son's wedding. I think that deep down you would feel better having her there as well, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I guess, but still.
Julia's right. How about you think about giving your mom a chance now? And if she decides to pull a stunt like she did with the house again, then you'll see she's not made the effort to change and fully cut her off without regrets. But she might really be repenting, and she might really never act like that again, so I feel like maybe it's better to give her the benefit of the doubt.
I agree. Maybe it's time to give her a chance.
Thank you for saying that.
Hi, Betty. It's so lovely to see you.
Oh my goodness, Julia, you look absolutely stunning. I think you might just be the most beautiful bride I have ever seen.
Oh, you flatter me. Thank you so much for seeing that, though.
I should be the one thanking you. Jay told me that it was you who told him to give me another chance. It's thanks to you that I'm able to come to my precious son's wedding, so I will be eternally grateful to you for that.
Well, of course, I wanted you to be here today.
I'm really sorry for being so awful toward you before. I think I was just acting out of desperation to find a way to get Jay to carry on living with me. I guess I was so worried about being lonely with him getting married and moving out. It was also made 100 times worse by my fears about growing old alone, and I think that's the main reason I made such a huge fuss. I really am so sorry, Julia.
It's okay, Betty. I completely understand where you're coming from. How are you doing, living by yourself? Have you settled into the new place well?
I'm actually quite enjoying living alone, you know. I can cook and eat whenever I want to without having to worry about Jay's schedule, and if I don't feel like doing the cleaning one day, I just won't do it. It's very liberating. Jay is quite the clean freak, you know, so doing everything to his standard was quite tiring, you know. If he tries to instruct you on how to do anything, just yell at him to do it by himself if he's going to be so particular about it.
I think I know what you mean. That's why I've been making him do most of the household chores. If I do it, he'll just complain and redo it himself later. Of course, I still do things like the dishes and the laundry, though.
Oh, I wouldn't even worry about that. Just let him do everything. If he's good at housework, he might as well be the one doing it. Anyway, Julia, there's another thing I wanted to say to you. I am really happy that you're marrying Jay. I wish you to nothing but happiness.
Thank you for saying that, Betty. We will be very happy together. I'm sure of it. After that, Jay and his mom made up and still maintain regular contact. He will always answer her calls, and we go to see her or invite her over to our place whenever we can. She also started to always take my side and ended up becoming my biggest cheerleader. At first, it was a little confusing to see her do a 180 like that, but I do know that she properly reflected on her actions and that she's truly sorry. I don't hold any grudges toward her, and I don't feel at all resentful about what happened. Jay and I are enjoying married life, and next month we're even planning to take both our moms on vacation together. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.